But Mamine William Wilson Jr. any enkomo or no a chief crusader na mene no any enkomo. They have concerns about a year the issues are ecocoso, the corruption and its related matters. One more assertion they say Andra minister Antre Sika yes reading no the minister never made mention of any acquire ye faswa ye tackle corruption no Crusaders Against Corruption that is the group many of paying pa edi and komo mami any was in ko what's what make a good morning Kessben Suni.
Good morning, not a
Very well me too kapa na employment is saying
Nyamiadum, I mean, just this correction. Edini Emmanuel Wilson.
Kessben 92.9.
Very well, Medasima. First of all, more concerns no anything with the minister on corruption.
Medasi, so I mean, you say the current state of the economy is extremely weak. Now, the reason why the economy is weak is simply because of Niama Miensa. The kind mismanagement. There to be unpatriotic decisions over the past period are buying any opinion for a making. The next one I bet me I can't want some corruption. It takes so much effect in this country, and until all the indices, ocean inflation rates, ocean debt to GDP.
Kessben 92.9.
Okay, all the very second and until the media budgets no. In as much as presidents and as a finance minister. They say,
hello, you might
so much enough.
You are yes, position who ye kakraba me. Why? Na position or camera then so ye mame or network na ya na a breaky. Not to us, baby.
Is it okay?
Yes, it's better now. It's betonka. Yet was
Matty. Say, share all the indices, economic indices, share your debt to GDP, unemployment, share all the issues across Ghana. Very clear say the economy is not at its right state. Now, see, say you revive the economy now, and yet the kind of statement and finance minister the any statement and now nim say Niema 8 would have featured strongly in the financial statement, a media budget, but unfortunately, we didn't see much of it, and it tells us clearly, say, even with the kind of statement that was presented yesterday, and yeah, it be making any significant effect on the economy in terms of reviving the economy. And that is where your disappointment is. But Obemame Akwinya, we will want to run through the 8 points and expect to Senka Finance Ministry through the media budgets. Beba be catch and say Niema Omuyeni, I nunti, Ebebuayen, Amayu put to the economy back on track.
Go ahead.
But the kind expect to Senka, in the presentation, something known as fiscal discipline. Unfortunately, there's nothing like fiscal discipline. How are you discipline in terms of finance expenditure? DPI as on my say Ghana here a prudent fiscal discipline. We don't need to go and borrow money from anywhere. But unfortunately, over the past period, including Nia Okai Che and Drano, a very clear said they've closed their eyes on it. Now I expect to say share the revenue ayinya now compare to the expenditure you're making in this country. And very clear say we are making a lot of the taxpayers' money go to waste. So much go to waste. Unfortunately, the yesterday's statements did not tell us anything about how put in terms of fiscal discipline. The other one, effective budgeting. Unfortunately, and it is quite strange, say Ghana as on mine every now and then your budget budget your expenditure more than what your revenue at. Inti Oshe and Drasia, Nanka, what ye senka, Obabe catcher and say, look, in terms of effective budgeting, and knowing where we are as Oman, your economy it is no. They decided say you cut it down on expenditure. Most importantly, you cut it down on ministers, any ministries are you cut it down on government expenditures, V8, and all the other things that we can do without. And not any man can expect to think at the end of the day. Yesterday's budget would have told us. The other one, enhancing revenue generation. You see, this finance minister, unfortunately, we live in a country where you believe we say adding more taxes, adia, and we revenue. There are so many taxes that are existing now, and by now, and draw media budgets now. A typical example, this COVID tax every now and then. What is the relevance of it even as at now? This e-levy tax every now and then. What has been the impact of it over this past period? Instead of us broadening the taxpayers' net, we are rather burdening kakrana omutia tax every now and then.
Unfortunately, e-levy was once upon a time an ideology and they expanded the tax net to incorporate everyone, both the formal and informal sector. Ghanaians have failed. Targets are not met. So why do we blame the government again?
You see, I am quite unfortunate. Obi Biobeka's e-levy is to broaden the tax net. That person doesn't really appreciate the tenets of taxation. You see, I can't see a broaden tax net. There's so many existing taxes. We have about 17 to 18 different taxes are yet. Mitia tax also.
Yeah.
Say utia tax our pure water. It necessary. Now look at the number of people in this country. Omutia, how do you call it? Omuto pure water. You have to a new tax for you to say you are broadening the tax net. Broadening the tax net simply as putting in place structures so that omwa it is a omutiano, omubetia taxes. And now we have something called property tax. Core income statistics. You will know say than 10 and property tax. So what you mean as necessary? Fall within that property tax. In as maybe has come. Look, again, statistics even tells us 11 started. Now it wasn't picking up, but in recent times it has picked up. Question is, has the e-levy come to help in? Clearly, it hasn't. And the issue has nothing to do with introduction of new taxes, but it has everything to do with broadening of the tax net. Broadening of the tax net simply means existing tax no. Yebe ensure say omu etiso mutiano, omu betia. The other thing has to do with promoting of economic diversification. And also say something will be said about it. The seventh one, enhancing financial sector oversight. Unfortunately, and this is tied into you discussed it a few minutes ago, which has to do with running the task. Unfortunately, it is enforce the financial obligations. Most of them do not. How many of us don't know? Say, credit is and making sure that taxes have been taken. They look into the books of companies and the rest. They don't do a scrutiny and they leave. These are the ways in which we are able to fight put the economy back on track. The seventh one, before I come to the very last one, is to encourage public-private partnership. Endra we say statements. It would have told Rebecca BB about public-private partnership. Unfortunately, it did not tell us. Look, there's no economy in this world that group without public-private partnership. And that when the former president Obekaya Akufo Obai, and the first mantra was that private sector, the engine of growth. There was a mantra of that. You see, you can only make sure that the economy is doing well only when you strengthen the private sector. You don't collapse private sector. You don't collapse instance in the private sector. The obvious is over. Unfortunately, Endra's statement not was sanitary on matters of corruption. You see, and I mean, no, Kasi. Ababeto just say on average, Ghana issue about 13 billion to corruption every year annually. 13 billion to corruption annually. Yesterday's statement, Nanka de Yeshe Nim say, Abai no beba be practically, near my year to prevent and protect the leakages in the public sector. The leakages in terms of corruption. Loopholes are your war in this country. Nanka ye expect to say Endra Abai in the communication with us. No beba be catch and say, weni adia oye to ensure say the economy is strengthened, to ensure say we are fighting corruption. Unfortunately, none of these 8 things were said. And Endra adia president ebe through the finance minister was more like just to tell us the things that we know already. And it gave us the impression said either the president and the minister they don't really know the reality of the state of the economy. And now, if they know they don't have any idea as to what to do. Because practically, if you want to save the situation as it is, you must first realize the state of the situation. And the state of Ghana's economy is very, 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 very bad. Indra, finance minister's presentation, there is nothing in it that gives us the hope, say, the current state economy is going to be savage.
I see. Very well. I take more concerns, no, and no. Mamenda was say for your time this morning, maybe any other sounds only wedding come up. Why?
But America did chat to in the statement here can be, and we are reiterating. Most at times, presentation of this sort comes up. But say say president or the finance minister will be quiet on future loans and our future borrowing. After now say later, the issues Baba Beto Parliament said they need to go and borrow loans and the rest. The year catcher Parliament between now and in the near future, and he said whether without and I say whatever be the reason for which our president, any finance minister, Beba Parliament, if it has to do with loan, for the sake of saving the economy, approve any other loan going forward, at least to say we've put in the right structure to say the economy are picking up.
Very well. Thank you. Emmanuel Wilson, your chief crusader at the bar Crusaders Against Corruption. And I don't pay Yadeno Edin Commodore 57 after 8. This is Kessben.